Mountain Zebra National Park started life in 1937 as a very small reserve.
Well, what I love is that when you read about the history of the park, it says that nearly 20 years ago, the park increased by over 200% in size, and actually credits this success to us, 50/50. We ran a story on famous wildlife artist David Shepherd, who started donating prints of two of his works so that neighboring farms could be bought by the public. It was so successful that SANparks was able to match the funds and buy up 9 surrounding farms, allowing more wildlife to be introduced into this national park here in the Eastern Cape.
The increased park size meant that cheetahs could be introduced in 2007, and they've done relatively well here. Last year, 2 females gave birth to 7 cubs. A few months ago, one of the mother cheetah died from a snake bite, and the decision was made to relocate her 4 cubs as they were genetically related to all the other cheetah in the park. They were temporarily moved into this boma.
You'll notice that there are 3 cheetahs and not 4. Sadly, one died from stress when lions started making daily visits to the boma. These little guys, well, they will be making a cross-country trip to their new home over 1,000 kilometers away. And, well, I will be with them for every one of those kilometers.
SANparks and the Endangered Wildlife Trust decided to move these 3 cheetah juveniles to a private reserve called Selati in Limpopo province. Woolworths, through the My Planet program, is well known for providing funding for conservation and to conservation organizations across the country. They introduced a limited edition bag range which 5 years later has raised over 6 million rands for conservation activities like this cheetah relocation.
Our customers are passionate about trying to support a threatened species, and we've got a lot of those in South Africa, not just the rhino, which has obviously been the highest profile one, but we've really used it to create other opportunities for customers to support species that are charismatic, like cheetahs and wild dogs, some of our bird species, some of our various biodiversity indicators as well.
Justin, the funds raised from these bags have been shared with many conservation organizations and not just the EWT. Why did you decide to collaborate with them?
Dealing with species like cheetah and wild dog really is very complex, and we need collaboration between not only corporates and NGOs, but also between the different NGOs involved. So we have tried to support EWT, Wildlife Act and WWF, all in their joint efforts to manage these species.
Vet Dr. Dave Zimmerman and his team from SANparks will be immobilizing the cheetahs. The cheetah siblings are 2 brothers and a sister. In order to reduce stress and unnecessary running around in the boma, Dr. Zimmerman darts the 2 brothers very quickly and then leaves the sister until last.
Dave, how will they be hydrated on the trip?
Well, normally cheetahs they get a lot of their fluids and that from the animals that they hunt. So they'll actually drink the blood of the carcasses or whatever they've hunted. From a transport or translocation point of view, there's not much of a risk of them dying of thirst.
Right. And what about food?
Food, obviously, there's always a risk of feeding them just before you immobilize them, because they might regurgitate that food. It might come up and they might aspirate it back into their lungs. These ones haven't been fed now. The last time they were fed was about two days back.
Vincent van der Merwe from the EWT runs the cheetah meta-population program and is overseeing this relocation.
So Vincent, these are the tracking collars that are going to be put on them. Why is it part of the rewilding process?
Well, basically, we don't want to immobilize them again on the other side. Once we release them, we can make sure they're hunting successfully for themselves.
They look quite bulky, but they're actually pretty light.
Yes, we don't want the collars to impair their natural movements, to impact on their feeding. So we obviously ordered the lightest collars possible.
The team moves quickly, collaring all 3 of the sub-adult animals and collecting DNA samples of blood, hair and tissue, and saliva swabs for the all-important cheetah meta-population genetic database of South Africa. Once inside the specialized crates, the immobilizing drugs start to wear off. Vincent checks on their progress regularly, stopping to look inside and monitor their condition. The sister and one brother are calm, but it's clear the smaller brother is the feisty one. 320 cheetahs have been reintroduced into 52 reserves across South Africa. These reserves are fenced, preventing cheetahs from leaving these areas. This introduces gene flow issues into the managed cheetah population of the country. The EWT combats this gene flow issue by continually observing the cheetah populations and then moving various individuals between reserves to ensure the genetic health of the entire population.
Cheetahs are very flimsy predators, so there's a good chance we could lose one of these cheetah on this trip. You know, if we lose 1 in every 4 cheetah that we transport, we've got the 3 cheetah in the back. Things could very quickly go wrong, and that's hopefully a situation that we're not going to encounter today.
One last checkup at sunset, and Vincent is pleased they are breathing well and making eye contact.
We're only a few hours from our destination, and all 3 cheetahs are doing very well. They have become a little more alert as the temperature cools, but the smaller brother is still making his presence known.
1,300 kilometers later, and the Selati Game Reserve is cloaked in darkness. The cheetah's new home is roughly the same size as the Mountain Zebra National Park and lies to the west of Kruger with plentiful antelope. Perfect prey for our cheetah siblings.
We've finally arrived. The cheetahs are all doing well. Now, it's obviously too dark to release them now, so cheetahs are diurnal and we will run into all sorts of issues if we release them now. So a few hours sleep for all of us, which we clearly need, and then they will be released at first light.
We want these guys to become fully self-sufficient in the next 3 months. And once they are hunting at full capacity, the female will have to be moved to another reserve for genetic reasons. We don't want her interbreeding with her brothers. So we will swap the female for another female and hopefully establish a breeding population on this 27,000 hectare reserve.
So should we do this?
Let's do it.
Okay.
It's got a hole over here, so just be careful.
This new holding boma is considerably larger than the cheetah's previous one. Selati's rewilding expert will monitor and prepare them for their new wild life out on the larger reserve. After being in the crates for 24 hours and traveling right across South Africa, the siblings are finally released. Wildlife management is no longer just a domain of government and private reserves. The citizen appeal on 50/50 all those years ago, as well as the choices we make while we shop, means we, the public, can actively participate in wildlife conservation every single day.